Time signatures 3/4 versus 6/8 time. What's the difference between 3/4 and 6/8 time? Coming up. Let's start with the basics of time signatures. The top number tells you how many beats you have per measure. So the 3 on top of 3/4 time tells you that there's 3 beats per measure, and the 4 on the bottom is telling you that the quarter note equals 1 beat. In 6/8 time, the 6 on the top tells you that there's 6 beats per measure, and the 8 on the bottom tells you that eighth note gets 1 beat. If you look at 3/4 and 6/8 time in music, they may look very similar, and mathematically, they practically are. If a quarter note is equal to 2 eighth notes, well then, they do look exactly the same, right? Especially with the value of notes that fits into every measure. So mathematically speaking, 3 quarter notes is equal to 6 eighth notes. Or if we write it out this way, there's 6 eighth notes that fit into one measure of 3/4 time, and 6 eighth notes that fit into one measure of 6/8 time. So what's the actual difference? Let me tell you. Here's the difference. The notes in 3/4 time and 6/8 time are grouped differently. This means the feel of the music is different. The difference is in the emphasis of the beats. Let me show you. In 3/4 time, we feel every quarter note as a beat, so we feel 3 beats in every measure. But in 6/8 time, we actually group the eighth notes in 3s. So technically, we feel only 2 large beats in 6/8 time, going as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and creating that emphasis on the 1 and the 4. If we had only eighth notes in 3/4 time, we would group the eighth notes in 2s, while in 6/8 time, we would group the eighth notes in 3s. But the big question is, why do we do this? Why do we feel the music differently in 3/4 and 6/8 time? It is because we have simple meter and compound meter. Simple meter is when eighth notes are grouped in 2s, and compound meter is when eighth notes are grouped in 3s. To help you remember this, time signatures that have a 2, 3, or 4 on top are simple meter, and time signatures that have a 6, 9, or 12 on top are compound meter. So that this means that 3/4 time is simple meter because it has that 3 on top, which means that we will group the eighth notes in 2s. To see this visually, in 3/4 time, we would group the eighth notes in 2s because it is simple meter, and we would group the eighth notes in 3s because it is compound meter. And this is the real difference. Because of the way we group the notes, we're going to feel the beats different as well. So in 3/4 time, we're going to be emphasizing beat 1 as in 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and in 6/8 time, we're going to be emphasizing every beat 1 and then giving a small emphasis on beat 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's the real difference. The emphasis of the beat changes the feel of the music. So now that you know this, and if you have a song in 3/4 time, you can make sure that you emphasize beat 1 of the music. And if you have a song in 6/8 time, you can make sure to emphasize beat 1 and beat 4. And remember that in 6/8 time, this really makes the music feel like it is in 2 beats instead of 6 beats. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Even so that conductors will always conduct 6/8 time in 2. This is why we call it compound meter, because really it is 2 large beats. Let me play a little song for you in 3/4 time. This is called Austrian Dance. Try to listen for the 3 beats per measure and for the emphasis on beat 1. That will make this feel like a waltz or a dance. And that wasn't the full song. If you want to hear the full song, you can see my video on Bergmüller's Opus 100, and I will link it up here. Now let me play you a little song in 6/8 time called Pastorelle. Here I want you to listen to the 2 large beats every measure. Listen why this song in 6/8 time actually feels like it's in 2 instead of 6. Thank you so much for watching and listening to 3/4 time versus 6/8 time. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to comment down below any questions that you have. Let me know that you enjoyed it. Boop the thumbs up for me and subscribe for more content like this.